Okay, buckle up you two, because the universe just served us another slice of absolute weirdness straight out of Mexico. Remember those creepy little desiccated dudes they claimed were aliens last year?
Vaguely, the ones that looked like shriveled ET props? What about them?
Don't tell me someone's trying to peddle that nonsense again. I thought that got debunked pretty quickly.
But that's where you're wrong, Nina. They're bug. Apparently, some Mexican doctors decided to give these alien mummies another look. Yeah, I did new x-rays and scans.
Oh, fantastic. More taxpayer money wasted on pseudoscience. What did the experts find this time? Proof they're made of papier-mâché and nightmares.
Get this? The official report claims no signs of tampering. They're saying each one is a single complete skeleton, not cobbled together from bits and pieces. And wait for it. They supposedly have intact internal structures, like organs and stuff, still inside after 1,000 years.
Intact after a millennium? That doesn't sound physically possible. What kind of preservation even talking about? It feels unnatural, almost violating the natural order of decay.
Intact internal structures is vague enough to mean anything. It could be fossilized remnants, mineral deposits, not little alien hearts and lungs. This already stinks of sensationalism.
Oh, it gets better. The cherry on top of this cosmic cake, one of them is allegedly full of eggs.
Eggs inside one of those things? What kind of eggs? Like tiny alien omelets waiting to happen? That's genuinely grotesque. It paints such a bizarre, unsettling image.
Eggs? Are you fucking kidding me? That's not biology. That's lazy B-movie writing. What's next? They find a tiny laser gun clutched in its 3-fingered hand? Yes is an insult to intelligence.
See, I told you it was good. The absurdity is off the charts. Can you imagine the headlines? Alien mummy found pregnant with breakfast.
So who's pushing this narrative this time? Let me guess. The same UFOlogist charlatan from last year?
Bingo, Jamie Mawson. He's doubling down, insisting these 1,000-year-old things are absolutely not human. Swears on his mother's tinfoil hat? Probably.
There's a certain conviction in people like him, isn't there? A deep need to believe in something beyond our mundane reality. While the eggs part sounds utterly ludicrous, the core desire to find proof of otherworldly life, I can almost understand the sentiment behind it, even if the evidence is questionable.
Oh, I understand the sentiment. Attention-seeking and maybe a little grifting. Let's be clear, the actual scientific community isn't buying this for a second. They're calling it what it likely is, an elaborate and frankly quite silly hoax. Probably pre-Columbian artifacts misinterpreted, deliberately or not.
And that, my friends, is exactly why this story is pure gold for us. It's got it all. Aliens, sketchy science, internet meltdown potential, controversy. It's designed to make people argue and freak out. You guys watching know what I mean, right? That perfect storm of weird news that makes you go, what the actual hell? But you also kind of can't look away. Yeah, you know that.
It truly highlights the divide, doesn't it? You have the fervent believers latching on to every detail, especially something as visceral as eggs inside, seeing it as undeniable proof. And then you have the eye-rolling skeptics dismissing it instantly as utter fabrication. There's rarely middle ground with things like this.
But why eggs? If you're going to fake an alien, you're is to specific, biologically weird detail. It's almost guaranteed to attract ridicule, unless the goal is ridicule and maximum chaos.
Maybe the aliens were space chickens, Nina? Ever think of that? Galactic poultry? Or maybe Mawson just really likes breakfast analogies. Who knows? But seriously, why are people so obsessed with this stuff? Aliens, conspiracies, secret moon bases.
Perhaps it's a longing for meaning or enchantment in a world that often feels too rational, too explained. The unknown offers a space for imagination, for hope that there's more than just this, even if it manifests as belief in egg-laying mummies. The internet just pours gasoline on that fire.
The internet definitely amplifies it. A fringe claim gets algorithmically boosted, finds its niche audience, and suddenly it looks like a legitimate debate. You've seen this pattern before. Remember the alien autopsy footage? Or those crop circles that turned out to be dudes with boards and rope? History is littered with these kinds of hoaxes.
Yeah, like finding Elvis working at a gas station. Some things just never die.
It does feel very X-Files, doesn't it? Mulder would be losing his mind over the egg mummy, writing frantic reports, while Scully would be demanding DNA tests on the yolk.
And Scully would be right. Where's the peer-reviewed data? Where's the independent verification until we see actual, rigorous scientific proof? This is just folklore for the digital age? Entertaining maybe, but utterly baseless. Calling it not human based on dodgy x-rays and alleged eggs is irresponsible bullshit.
Okay, Nina. Deep breaths. Don't blow a gasket over the alien space chickens. But you gotta admit, the sheer audacity is kind of hilarious. Someone crafted this narrative, eggs and all, and unleashed it onto the world.
There's a certain theater to it all. The presentation, the dramatic claims, the ensuing debate. It functions almost like performance art, reflecting our collective anxieties and hopes about the cosmos.
Performance art funded by gullible people, maybe.
Look, whether it's a hoax, a misunderstanding, or legit space invaders with questionable reproductive choices, it taps into something real. That itch we have for the unknown, the desire to believe the universe is weirder than we think. And honestly, it's just fucking funny. Sometimes you just need a story about 1,000-year-old, possibly egg-filled alien mummies to remind you that reality is often stranger and dumber than fiction. Keeps things interesting, right? Okay, settle down, folks. Because the internet has truly outdone itself this time. You think you've seen peak weird? Buckle up. We're talking about the streaming world, which honestly feels like a goddamn fever dream half the time. So get this, there's this Twitch streamer, goes by Isidore. This absolute lunatic decided the best way to engage his audience was to let them torture him with water for donations.
Wait, what? Torture? Like actual torture? How is that even allowed?
For donations, seriously? People paid for this? What the hell is wrong with everyone?
Exactly. He called the stream bits equals water drops. He literally set up a Chinese water torture rig, you know. The drip, drip, drip on the forehead meant to drive you insane. And the deal was, every time someone donated 3 bits, which is like pennies, a drop of water would hit his face. Pay to torment the streamer. Genius, right? Or maybe just proof humanity is circling the drain.
That's deeply unsettling. It sounds less like entertainment and more like some sort of bizarre public self-flagellation. The psychological aspect of that kind of torture, even if it's just water, is horrible.
And it went viral, obviously. Because of course it did. The internet loves a good train wreck. Clips were everywhere. Apparently one got like 11 million views in a single day. The caption, streamer lets his chat Chinese water torture him for donations. Subtle.
Shocking, I know. A guy, basically waterboarding himself for pocket change, blew up online. Who could have predicted that?
So what happened? Did Twitch just let this continue? It feels like something they should have shut down instantly.
Oh, they shut it down fast. Twitch slammed him with a ban the very next day, at least 24 hours. Probably longer. Their reasoning was that he violated their community guidelines against soliciting self-harm. Basically, asking people to pay money for you to endure pain or harm yourself, or for them to inflict it, is a big no-no. Can't exactly argue with that logic.
Okay, but here's the $1 million question, or maybe the 3-bit question. Where the fuck is the line now? Is this just performance art? Extreme content for clicks? Or is this guy genuinely unwell and exploiting himself, and the audience is just egging him on?
It blurs the line so much. It reminds me of those old Jackass stunts, but somehow sadder. Jake is said like chaotic, dumb fun among friends. This feels transactional and a bit bleak. Pay to Suffer has a really dark ring to it.
It's absolutely different from Jackass. Those guys were stunt performers, arguably idiots, but they were doing it for a production, for a show. This guy is turning self-inflicted discomfort into a direct transaction with anonymous viewers. It's degrading and frankly pathetic.
Pathetic, maybe, but also kind of genius in a fucked up capitalist way. Find a niche, even if that niche is people who want to pay to watch me slowly lose my mind via water droplets. The hustle is real. Guys,
let's not glorify this hustle. What about the audience? Who are these people clicking donate to watch someone suffer? Even mildly, are they just bored? Malicious. It says something pretty grim about viewer culture right now. They're complicit in this garbage.
It reflects a kind of detachment, doesn't it? Clicking a button to make a drop fall feels removed from the actual experience. It gamifies discomfort. That's dangerous. We lose empathy when things become just pixels on a screen.
So, Twitch did the right thing banning him, yeah? Or are they just being nanny state killjoys? Stepping on creative freedom? I mean, the dude consented, right? Nobody forced him under the faucet?
Oh, creative freedom? Is that what we're calling letting strangers pay to drip water on your head now? Give me a break. Platforms absolutely have a responsibility here. It's not about nannying. It's about not letting your platform become a cesspool of exploitation and potential harm. Think about the precedent.
There's such immense pressure in the streaming world. Everyone is constantly trying to outdo each other, find the next viral gimmick. It's this relentless cycle of one-upmanship. Today it's water torture for bits, tomorrow, Who knows? Maybe someone will try something genuinely life-threatening for clout.
Like what's next? Paper cut. Donate to hear nails on a chalkboard? Where does the absurdity end?
That's the real concern. It's not just about this one idiot streamer. It's about the copycats. Some impressionable kid sees this blew up, even with the ban, and thinks, hey, maybe I could do something even crazier for attention. Banning after the fact isn't enough. The damage, the normalization of this shit, might already be done.
It feels like we're losing the plot a bit, collectively, trading dignity for views, normalizing mild torture as entertainment. It's a strange path we're walking down.
Yeah, well, welcome to 2025, where reality is stranger than fiction, and someone's probably already pitching electrocution for e-coins as we speak. What a time to be alive, eh?
Let's just hope platforms get smarter about moderation before someone gets seriously hurt chasing these fleeting moments of internet fame. Because this Isidore guy, he won't be the last.
All right, you two, strap the fuck in, because science just went full weird again. Get this, scientists have made, wait for it, woolly mice.
Woolly mice? Like mice wearing tiny sweaters? What are you talking about, Kiki?
No, even weirder. Actual mice, but pumped full of woolly mammoth DNA. Real life, tiny, furry Ice Age experiments running around a lab somewhere.
Okay, let me guess. This has colossal biosciences written all over it? That Dallas biotech company trying to de-extinct the mammoth?
Ding, 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 Nina, you nailed it. They implanted mouse embryos with mammoth genes specifically for traits like thick hair and cold resistance. Little Franken mice prepping for the next ice age.
Oh wow, so miniature mammoths? That feels unnatural. Like we're peering into a forbidden genetic toy box. It's fascinating but deeply unsettling. What were mammoths even like beyond the cartoons? Huge, hairy, ancient beings from a world utterly unlike ours?
They were megafauna adapted to the Pleistocene tundra. Think giant, cold-adapted elephants, shaggy coats, layers of fat, curved tusks. Engineering mice with a few of those traits is clever genetic footwork, demonstrating they can isolate and express specific ancient genes. It's a proof of concept.
Proof of concept? Nina, they made mammoth mice. This isn't about publishing papers. This is step one in their grand, insane plan bringing back the actual woolly mammoth. They're not even hiding it.
Oh, of course, because what the world clearly needs right now is herds of resurrected prehistoric giants roaming. Where exactly? Siberia? Texas? Who's funding this theme park ride?
It's that amazing and creepy feeling the brief mentioned, isn't it? The sheer audacity is incredible, conquering extinction. But the creepy part, it whispers about unforeseen consequences, about the hubris of manipulating life on such a scale. Are we just patching up nature's tapestry? Or clumsily reweaving it with threads we don't understand?
Hubris is one word for it. Expensive is another. The practical hurdles are astronomical. We're talking about gestating something potentially elephant-sized from engineered cells. What's the surrogate? How many failed attempts? What's the budget? This sounds less like science and more like a billionaire's pet project dressed up as conservation.
Forget practicality for a sec. Can we just appreciate the sheer Jurassic Park vibe here? They started with mice. It's like in gen testing on compies before unleashing the T-Rex. What's next? Saber-toothed hamsters, dodo pigeons? I'm picturing tiny mice with adorable little tusks trying to push over pebbles in their cages. It's hilarious and terrifying.
The comparison is unavoidable, and Jurassic Park was a cautionary tale, remember? Life finds a way, often chaotic and destructive. Are we prepared for mammoth mice escaping the lab and taking over a cheesecake factory? It sounds absurd, but the principle, meddling has consequences.
Please Allah, they're mice with slightly different hair follicles and maybe better fat insulation, not rampaging monsters. The real danger isn't fuzzy rodents. It's the ethical precedent and the resource drain.
But Nina, isn't the ethical question the core question? Are we playing God as the saying goes? Do we have the right to reverse extinction? We cause so much of it. Perhaps there's a karmic debt to repay, or perhaps extinction is a natural endpoint we shouldn't tamper with. It feels spiritually significant somehow.
Look, playing God is a term people throw around whenever science pushes boundaries. We developed vaccines, IVF, genetically modified crops. Arguments about playing God were made then too. Science progresses by challenging perceived limits. The real ethical questions are about animal welfare during the process, ecological impact if they succeed in resource allocation? Is this the best use of brilliant minds and billions of dollars when the planet is facing current ecological crises?
Okay, Dr. Practicality, but imagine the merch. Woolly mammoth plushies, adopt a mammoth programs, mammoth burgers. Okay, maybe not the last one. Too soon?
Kiki, please, but your joke highlights a point. This is as much a branding exercise as it is science. Colossal gets massive PR, attracts investors, sells the dream of de-extinction. The woolly mice are a fantastic marketing tool. Generate buzz, get funding, rinse, repeat.
But think of the potential ecological impact Nina mentioned. Where would they live? Modern ecosystems aren't the Pleistocene tundra. Introducing such a large herbivore could have massive, unpredictable effects on plant life, soil, existing animal populations. It's not just adding back an element, it's introducing a potentially disruptive force.
Yeah, imagine trying to get planning permission. Hi, we'd like to release several tons of prehistoric fury into Yellowstone. No, they won't eat the tourists. Probably. Do we need an environmental impact assessment for that? The logistics are fucking insane. What do they even eat? We have enough ancient grass lying around?
Exactly. Diet, habitat, disease susceptibility, social structures. We know relatively little about how mammoths actually live day to day. Recreating the animal is one thing. Recreating its world or ensuring it can survive in ours is entirely different. It might be kinder to leave them extinct.
Okay, screw kindness for a second. Let's get wild. If they can do mammoths, what else is on the table? Nina, give me the sci-fi wish list. T-Rex, velociraptors we can ride like horses, giant sloths. Come on!
Dinosaurs are a non-starter. DNA degrades far too quickly. We don't have viable genetic material. Mammoths died out relatively recently, geologically speaking, and we have well-preserved samples from permafrost. That's why they're the low-hanging fruit of de-extinction. If you can call this low-hanging, maybe a dodo or a passenger pigeon smaller? The race and extinctions are more plausible, but still incredibly complex.
I imagine seeing a resurrected dodo pottering about. There's a strange poetry to it, a symbol of human folly brought back by human ingenuity. Would we treat it better this time? Or would it end up as a novelty pet tragically unsuited for our world? It's beautiful and sad to contemplate.
Dodo Dash, the new delivery service, guaranteed to be slightly confused and arrive eventually.
See, this is how the public likely sees it. Nerds like us might debate the science and ethics, but for most people, it's either cool Jurassic Park or WTF, why are they making mammoth mice? It's pure spectacle. The hype is huge among the tech pro. Disrupt extinction crowd while everyone else is cracking jokes or just bewildered.
Seriously, check the comments online for this story. It's gold. Half the people are planning their Ice Age themed park outfits. The other half are convinced this is how the apocalypse starts. What do you guys think? Let us know mammoth mayhem or massive mistake.
It does make you reflect on our priorities. We pour resources into potentially resurrecting the mammoth, while countless species currently teeter on the brink. Sumatran rhinos and Mar leopards, their extinction is happening now. Is de-extinction a dazzling distraction from the harder work of present-day conservation? Or could the technologies developed here somehow help those efforts?
From a business angle, Colossal would argue the latter. Use of the genetic tools honed for mammoths could be applied to genetic rescue for endangered species, increasing diversity, by removing harmful mutations. It's a compelling narrative for investors and for public image. Whether it pans out is another question. It's high risk, high reward science theater.
So, rich guys funding weird science that might accidentally save some pandas while trying to build a pet mammoth. Sounds about right for 2025.
Ultimately, it forces us to ask what we value. The past, lost forever, the present, slipping through our fingers, or a future where humanity wields the power of creation and resurrection. For better or worse, these woolly mice, tiny as they are, carry the weight of those enormous questions.
For me, it boils down to practicality and impact. The science is fascinating, undeniably, but the path to a viable, ecologically integrated mammoth population seems fraught with near insurmountable obstacles and ethical quandaries. It's an extraordinary intellectual exercise, but perhaps destined to remain just that. Most mice are probably the closest we'll get.
My final take? I want a woolly mouse. Seriously, how cool would that be? Forget hamsters. I want a pet that carries the legacy of the Ice Age in its tiny, furry body. Just don't let it near the freezer. It might start plotting world domination, or at least Planning a very chilly escape. Okay, buckle up, because the internet served up some premium grade insanity this week. You guys will not believe this shit. So there's this woman out in Northern California, right? And she goes public, like really public on Facebook, saying her own 75-year-old father is a secret serial killer. Claims he's whacked like 70 people over decades.
70? Oh my god. That's a staggering number. Where did this even come from? How did it spread?
Everywhere, TikTok, Reddit, every basement-dwelling true crime YouTuber jumped on it immediately. It was pure chaos.
Right, I think I saw whispers of it. She posted saying, I am the daughter of a serial killer, and apparently had evidence, like journals and audio recordings. It felt like something straight out of a dark novel. The narrative alone is compelling, even if terrifying.
Oh, of course she had evidence, conveniently discovered decades later. And let me guess, the internet detectives collectively lost their minds? People will believe anything if it's packaged with enough drama. 70 victims, please. That rivals Bundy or Gacy numbers. Nobody noticed for 50 years. Highly unlikely. But yeah, the true crime addicts ate it up. They probably already had podcast intros recorded, comparing him to the Zodiac Killer, ready to cash in on the next big morbid sensation. The speed at which these things trend is purely market-driven.
Exactly. People were convinced. They were mapping potential burial sites on Reddit, analyzing the dad's old photos, full-blown internet sleuth mode activated. It was wild to watch unfold.
That frenzy can be so intense. It's like a digital mob forming, searching for answers, or just for something to consume.
But wait for it. Here comes the punchline. The cops actually looked into it, did a proper investigation because, hey, 70 alleged murders? You kinda have to, right? And guess what they found? Fucking nothing, zero, zilch. Nada. No bodies, no cold cases that remotely matched her wild stories. No evidence that wasn't just stuff.
As expected, authorities officially stamped it as unverified and, let's be blunt, likely total bullshit. They basically told the internet mob to go home. Wasted resources, wasted time, all because someone spun a yarn online. Honestly, there should be consequences for that kind of stunt.
Oh, the poor community there, Mendocino County. Imagine having your home suddenly associated with a phantom serial killer because of a viral fabrication. The locals were reportedly really upset by the whole media circus descending on them for nothing. It disrupts the peace, plants fear where none was warranted.
Seriously though, how did so many people fall for it? Are we that desperate for dark entertainment? 70 victims, guys? From a 75-year-old dude? It sounds like a terrible movie plot. Like, be honest, how many of you watching or listening actually saw the headlines and thought, ooh, juicy, before even questioning it? The internet's thirst is real.
I think it speaks to a deeper cultural fascination, doesn't it? We're drawn to the abyss, to the extremes of human behavior. True crime offers a way to confront darkness from a safe distance. Maybe this story tapped into that collective hunger for the next big, terrifying narrative. Are we, in a way, addicted to the thrill of the monster?
It's not just fascination, Allah. It's a booming industry. True crime podcast, documentaries, books. It's a multi-million-dollar market. Content creators know that sensational claims, especially about serial killers, generate clicks, views, and ad revenue. This woman's story, true or not, was perfect clickbait. The market rewards the outrageous, not necessarily the factual. That's why it spread like wildfire potential profit.
So Nina thinks it's all about the Benjamins. Allah thinks we're secretly hoping monsters exist. What about the woman herself? What the hell was she thinking?
Thinking probably wasn't doing much of that. It screams attention-seeking, maybe serious underlying mental health issues. But does that excuse potentially terrifying people? Smearing her father's name and wasting taxpayer money on a police investigation? Absolutely not. In my book, fabricating something this serious warrants more than just dismissal. There should be accountability, maybe even charges for creating a public panic.
Accountability is one thing, but punishment? If she genuinely needs help, if she's created this narrative out of delusion or trauma, slapping her with charges might not be the most constructive path. It's easy to demand consequences, harder to address the root cause. Maybe understanding why someone would do this is more important than just punishing them. What void was she trying to fill with this story?
Or maybe she's just a fucking liar who wanted her 15 minutes of fame and thought accusing grandpa of mass murder was the quickest way halfway there. Could be simple as that. Sometimes people are just assholes.
Regardless of motive, attention, delusion, the impact is the same: misinformation and unnecessary fear. And it highlights the problem with these online detectives.
Oh, don't get me started on the Reddit warriors. Suddenly, everyone with a keyboard thinks they're Sherlock Holmes. They probably caused more harm than good, spreading her bullshit claims even further. It's like digital vigilantism based on zero facts.
It's incredibly irresponsible. Crowdsourced investigations often devolve into witch hunts. They dox innocent people, misinterpret information, and muddy the waters for actual law enforcement. They operate without rules, ethics, or accountability. It's dangerous, not helpful. They amplify noise, not signal. And when it turns out to be fake, they just move on to the next shiny object, leaving chaos behind.
Yet, there's also a strange pull in that collective action, isn't there? A desire to connect, to solve something, to bring order to chaos, even if it's misplaced. This whole incident became, as the brief mentioned, a kind of real-life creepypasta, a modern folktale born on the internet, fueled by fear and fascination, spreading organically before being debunked. It shows the power of narrative online, how easily a story can take root and feel real, even with something as grave as serial murder.
Okay, confession time. Would you guys have fallen for it, even for a second, when you first heard daughter claims elderly dad is serial killer with journals?
Absolutely not. 70 victims, undiscovered for decades. My bullshit meter would be screaming. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and journals found in the attic rarely qualifies. Especially when announced on Facebook, I'd wait for police confirmation, which predictably never came. Always follow the money and the facts.
I might have been intrigued by the story itself, the sheer darkness of the claim. I wouldn't necessarily believe it outright without proof, but the narrative is powerful. The idea of hidden evil in plain sight, supposed archetypes, may be captivated by the tale, skeptical of the reality.
I'd probably be halfway through writing a script about it before realizing it was fake. I love weird shit, but yeah, Nina's right. That victim count was way too high to be believable, without some serious proof popping up instantly. Seriously though, folks, this whole mess is a perfect example of why you need to take sensational online stories with a massive grain of salt. Don't just retweet the crazy headline. Think, question, wait for actual facts before you join the digital pitchfork mob. Or, just enjoy the absurdity like we do.
It boils down to critical thinking, something sorely lacking when clicks are involved.
And perhaps a reminder to seek truth, not just compelling stories, especially when real lives and communities are affected.
All right, buckle up, buttercups, because the internet has delivered again, and this time it's uniquely furry. Have you guys heard about Toko?
Toko? Sounds like a taco brand. What did they do? Launch a spicy challenge?
Or perhaps a new artisanal blend? My interest is piqued, Kiki.
Oh, it's spicy, all right, but not in the way you think. Toko is this Japanese dude who decided his lifelong dream was, wait for it, to become a dog, and he didn't half-ass it. He dropped over $14,000, 14 grand, on a custom-made, hyper-realistic, rough collie costume, like movie-quality stuff.
$14,000 to look like Lassie? Is this a midlife crisis or just peak performance art?
$14,000 to embody a canine? There's a certain poetry to it, a dedication to transformation. But why a collie?
Who knows? Maybe he just really vibes with the whole heroic farm dog aesthetic. Anyway, the costume is insane. Videos of him dropped last year, him on all fours, playing fetch, rolling over, and they went mega viral. People lost their minds. The best part? The suit is so convincing. Actual dogs were apparently fooled. Imagine sniffing a butt and realizing it's just some dude named Toko in $14 worth of fake fur. Hilarious.
There's an uncanny valley effect there, I imagine. The familiar form rendered just slightly off. It touches on our perception of reality, of mimicry. It's visually arresting. I can see why it captured attention. The absurdity is magnetic.
Magnetic or just plain baffling? So he walks around, pretending to be a dog. Cute hobby. What's the news? Did he win Best in Show at some weird convention?
Oh, Nina, my sweet, cynical friend. It gets so much better. He wasn't content just being Fido in his living room. He's leveled up. He escalated. Toko opened a business. In Tokyo, it's called, wait for it, Takatoko Zoo.
A zoo? What's in it? More guys in dog suits? A shrine to Lassie?
Tokotoko Zoo, a zoo for humans perhaps, where we observe ourselves.
Bingo, Ayla. It's basically a human zoo where you pay to be the animal. He's renting out high-quality animal costumes. The first one available, a big fluffy Alaskan Malamute. You pay about $250, you get the suit for half a day, and you can just romp around. be a dog, or whatever creature they add next. He literally said, I love being a collie so much. I want everyone to try it.
Hold on. Let me get this straight. People are paying $250 to sweat inside a giant furry costume, pretending to be a dog, in a place run by a guy who also pretends to be a dog? Is this a business or a cry for help?
It's an experience economy taken to a fascinating extreme, offering temporary escape, a chance to shed one's human skin and inhabit another form, even if just for play. There's a vulnerability in that desire.
Vulnerability? Allah? It sounds like a fetish club with extra steps and a ridiculous price tag. $250 for half a day? You could hire an actual dog walker for a month for that? What's the ROI on pretending to be a Malamute? 0. It's economically nonsensical.
Nina, bring in the fire. But that's exactly why it blew up, right? It's just so fucking weird. The sheer WTF factor is off the charts. Man lives as dog? Okay, quirky. Man opens business so you can live as dog? That's viral gold.
It certainly blurs lines. Performance art, niche hobby, business venture, it touches on cosplay, the furry community, but commercializes it in a very public way. It forces a confrontation with what we deem normal leisure.
Normal leisure doesn't usually involve paying hundreds of dollars to potentially get fleas from a communal dog suit. Just saying, the hygiene implications alone.
You, Nina? But yeah, the debate online is wild. Half the people are like, OMG wholesome. Let him live his dream. Not hurting anyone, you know. The whole live your truth. Toko vibe. The other half, they're calling it creepy, dehumanizing. A fetish suit? Memes are everywhere. People comparing him to Goofy, joking he took doggy style way too literally. It's brutal but hilarious.
The term fetish sue is quite loaded. It implies a voyeuristic element centered on perceived deviance. But couldn't it also be seen simply as elaborate, imaginative play? Perhaps Western reactions, leaning into shock and comedy, differ significantly from how it might be perceived in Japan, where unique subcultures sometimes find more acceptance.
Acceptance is one thing, commercial viability is another. Who is the target market here? Tourists looking for a weird story? Furries who want a premium experience? Lonely people who wish they had tails? I just don't see the business model scaling. It's a novelty act.
Maybe. Or maybe it's genius marketing for something. There was this one joke online, probably my favorite. Rent in Tokyo is so high, this dude literally became a dog to avoid the grind, and now he's charging others for the privilege. Fucking brilliant.
Charging $250 for escapism? That's peak late-stage capitalism right there. Instead of fixing the soul-crushing grind, you sell expensive ways to pretend it doesn't exist for a few hours by dressing as a fucking husky.
Or perhaps it speaks to a deeper human longing, a desire to connect with something primal, instinctive, less burdened by complex thought and societal expectation. In a world that often feels overwhelming, the simplicity of being an animal, even in pretend, might hold a strange allure. It's a form of radical self-expression.
Or radical self-expression, or just really, really weird. I'm leaning towards weird. Extremely weird. Like, history will look back at this and just scratch its head. If this catches on, are we going to see human hamster ball experiences? Pretend to be a pigeon parks? Where does it end?
Okay, but imagine Nina Voss in a giant pigeon costume, cooing aggressively for crumbs. I'd pay $250 for that.
Don't even joke about that, Kiki. The sheer indignity.
It challenges boundaries undeniably between human and animal, play and commerce, personal fulfillment, and public spectacle. Toko's venture, bizarre as it seems, forces us to question where those lines should be drawn, or if they should exist at all.
Exactly. Love it or hate it, you can't ignore it. It's the perfect internet storm. Weird, visual, debatable, slightly uncomfortable, and endlessly memeable. This guy Toko, whether he meant to or not, became a global talking point just by wanting to wag his tail.
A talking point, maybe. A sound investment? Highly doubtful. But I guess there's no such thing as bad publicity, even if that publicity involves grown adults paying a fortune to bark at strangers. Uniqueting angle is unique.
Perhaps the value isn't in the dollars, Nina, but in the conversation it sparks. The sheer strangeness holds a mirror to our own definitions of happiness and freedom. It's oddly thought-provoking beneath the fur.
Okay, switching gears completely because you guys are not going to believe this next one. Seriously, prepare yourselves. Los Angeles is hosting the world's first ever live sperm race. Yes, you heard me. Actual human sperm racing head-to-head. Tiny swimmers from UCLA versus USC students. It's like the Rose Bowl, but under a microscope and way, way stickier.
Wait, a sperm race? As in competitive fertilization? injection? That sounds like something out of a dystopian satire novel. Is this actually real?
Oh, it's fucking real, Ayla. Happening later this month, April 25th, at the Hollywood Palladium, no less. They're calling it sperm racing. Catchy, right?
The Hollywood Palladium, that's quite the venue choice. So they're treating this like a legitimate sporting event? I need the details. How does this even work logistically?
Okay, so picture this. They have this tiny 20 centimeters of racetrack, right? But it's designed under a microscope to mimic, well, the lady parts highway, the whole reproductive tract shebang.
So it's not just a straight line. It likely incorporates fluid dynamics, perhaps temperature gradients and chemical signals, simulating the biological chemotaxis that guides sperm. Naturally, it's strangely biological theater.
Exactly. Chemical signals and shit to make the little guys hustle. Like tiny Olympics for jizz.
And they're planning a full spectator experience because the venue implies an audience. Oh, absolutely. The brief says live commentary. I can only imagine what that sounds like. Leaderboards tracking the top swimmers, instant replays of the good bits, and get this betting. People can actually wager money on which university's sample crosses the finish line first.
Betting? Holy shit, can you imagine? All right, folks. Placing $5 on Trojan Timmy, he looks feisty? This is insane. What kind of degenerate bets on sperm races? Sign me up.
Betting on the generative potential of life itself, there's something profoundly uncomfortable about reducing it to a gamble. It feels sacrilegious almost.
It's definitely provocative. The startup behind it is called Sperm Racing, founded by 4 young entrepreneurs. Apparently, one of them is ex-Mr. Beast crew. That explains the viral bait strategy. They know how to generate buzz, even if it's through pure shock value. Their stated mission, however, is health awareness.
Health awareness? How the hell does watching sperm race make anyone healthier? Unless maybe the loser has to go eat more oysters or something?
They claim it's about destigmatizing conversations around declining male fertility worldwide, turning a sensitive health topic into a competitive sport to make it more approachable, less awkward.
Declining male fertility is a serious global issue. The ecological and societal implications are vast. But is this the way? Does gamification truly foster understanding? Or does it just trivialize a complex and often painful reality for many?
Oh, boohooella, line up. If some dude sees this crazy race and thinks, maybe I should get my swimmers checked, then who gives a flying fuck how they got there? Maybe we need more stupid shit like this to get people off their asses about real problems. If it works, it works.
I see Kiki's point about outcomes. Zardela's concern about trivialization is valid from a branding and public health perspective. Does associating fertility with what is essentially a gag event actually improve public perception or understanding long term? Or does it just become another fleeting internet joke? It risks making the topic seem less serious, not more accessible. Traditional health campaigns struggle for attention. This is guaranteed attention, but is it the right kind of attention? Does it lead to meaningful action or just temporary clicks and laughs?
And there's the inherent strangeness, the IEC factor perhaps. Gamifying human reproductive cells, the very essence of lineage and potential life. It feels invasive on a level that's hard to articulate. It's like we're playing God with the building blocks of humanity for entertainment.
Culturally, it's pushing boundaries. Some will find it hilarious and progressive, embracing the openness. Others will undoubtedly find it deeply offensive or unethical, irrevolt, significant, and, though perhaps that's part of the marketing plan, controversy sells.
Offensive, please? People get offended if you breathe wrong these days. I want to know where they get the samples. Do the students line up with little cups? Is there a donation station next to the merch table? Get your foam finger and fill your vial. And what motivates someone to donate? Bragging rights? Yeah. My sperm won the LA Regionals, NBD. Imagine putting that on your resume.
The competitive aspect itself is bizarre when applied here. What determines the winner? Speed, endurance, motility patterns. It's reducing a complex biological process to a simple race metric.
And of course, they leaned into the UCLA VSC rivalry. That's smart marketing. Tapping into existing tribalism. It gives people a rooting interest beyond the sheer absurdity.
Hell yeah, go Bruins or Trojans. Fuck, I don't even care who wins. I just want to see the chaos. Who do you think has faster sperm anyway? Is it the rich UST kids fueled by daddy's money and Adderall? Or the stressed out UCLA nerds powered by ramen and existential dread?
Historically, one might associate USC with flashy speed and perhaps less strategic maneuvering. UCLA, known for rigorous study and endurance. Perhaps their gametes possess a certain intellectual fortitude, a resilience honed through countless all-nighters. This is getting ridiculous.
From a brand perspective, USC might have the edge in terms of performance expectations. Fair or not, but UCLA could be the dark horse, the underdog narrative. Either way, the rivalry angle guarantees engagement from students and alumni.
Oh my God, can you imagine the trash talk? Your sperm count is lower than your GPA. My swimmers have more legacy connections than your entire frat.
And it's working in terms of buzz. As predicted, it's already blowing up online. TikTok is filled with WTF is a sperm race videos. It's achieving exactly the kind of viral chatter they likely aim for.
Kiki Scoops playful, right? Like, you see this shit online and you have to click. You just know. Half the people watching are going to be horrified, the other half dying laughing. It's genius in its sheer stupidity. You listening? Go look it up after this. It's wild.
But does viral mean valuable, or is it just noise? A fleeting digital spectacle soon replaced by the next absurdity?
Virality is valuable in the attention economy, Ayla. Whether it translates to their stated health goal is another question entirely. But as a marketing campaign for the sperm racing brand, it's undeniably effective in capturing eyeballs.
So what's next? Competitive egg freezing, ovary Olympics? Maybe a live pap smear race? The possibilities for invasive health sports are endless.
Perhaps a synchronized colonoscopy display, or competitive phlegm hawking for distance? Where does the desire to turn bodily functions into spectacle end?
Okay, now you're just giving them ideas, Alla. But seriously, imagine pitching prostate pong or bladder ball. The marketability is questionable, but the shock value, through the roof. Maybe that's the future of wellness engagement. Make it utterly unforgettable, for better or worse.
Prostate pong. I fucking love it. Nina, you're hired for their next brainstorm session. Look, whether this sperm race thing is a brilliant public health hack, a crass marketing stunt, or just peak 2025 batshit craziness, you gotta admit, it's unforgettable.
It certainly reflects a fascinating, if unsettling, point in our culture where entertainment, technology, biology, and commerce collide in the most unexpected ways. It forces a conversation, albeit a strange one.
Final analysis? As a stunt to generate awareness for the brand, Sperm Racing, it's a resounding success. As a campaign to genuinely improve understanding or outcomes for male fertility, the jury is very much out. It's likely more effective as provocative entertainment than as meaningful health education. But hey, maybe that's enough for them?
Okay, let's switch gears. You guys are not going to believe this annual circus that just rolled back into town. The World Happiness Report? You know, the one that tells everyone which country is pretending to be the happiest?
Ah, yes. The yearly ranking based on self-reported life satisfaction and a cocktail of socioeconomic metrics. Let me guess. Finland took the gold again? It's becoming predictable.
Finland? It holds a certain quiet allure in these rankings, doesn't it? Like a deep, snow-covered forest holding secrets to contentment. It's their 6th year running, I believe, or maybe even more depending on how you count.
Bingo! 6th year in a row? Finland is officially the happiest place on earth, apparently. Pack your bags, we're moving. Though honestly, happiest? Sounds boring as hell.
Predictable, Kiki. The Nordic countries always dominate. Denmark, Iceland, Sweden. They probably have a pack. High taxes, functional society. Everyone gets paid leave to stare blankly at fjords. Sounds thrilling.
It's more than just fjords, Nina. The report consistently points to factors like strong social support, a high degree of freedom, low corruption. These things weave a fabric of trust in society. Perhaps it's less about ecstatic joy and more about a profound sense of security and mutual care.
Exactly. The key metrics are GDP per capita, social support systems, healthy life expectancy, freedom to make life choices, diversity, which is always vaguely defined, and perception of corruption. The Nordics nail these. It's a formula for a stable, albeit potentially bland society.
Okay. Stable and bland might be your jam, Nina, but the internet went wild. Everyone's joking about ditching their lives and moving to Helsinki. Memes everywhere. Meanwhile, in Finland, still happy, send darkness.
Oh, I'm sure the Finnish immigration website crashed from the sheer volume of disillusioned American millennials looking for functional healthcare and parental leave. Good luck integrating into that famously warm, and welcoming culture.
I imagine life there isn't quite the utopia the memes suggest. Perhaps it's just quieter, less pressure to perform happiness constantly. Maybe they've mastered the art of melancholic satisfaction. Sipping coffee in the dark for 6 months straight must build character.
But that's the big question, right? What fuck does happiest even mean? Are Finns actually skipping through fields of reindeer, high on life? Or is it just that their government works and they trust each other not to be complete assholes?
It's almost certainly the latter. The metrics point towards societal function, not individual euphoria. It measures life evaluation, not moment-to-moment effect. High scores mean people feel their lives are generally good and supported, not that they're constantly grinning like idiots.
There's truth in that. I read somewhere that Finns themselves often joke about the ranking, saying things like, "We're not smiling, but we're content." It speaks volumes about cultural differences in expressing well-being. Happiness isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just the quiet absence of misery.
So they're basically the Eeyores of the world, but with better infrastructure? Thanks for noticing me and my robust social safety net. Fucking hilarious.
It's a functional your state, perhaps? But look at the rest of the top 10. Denmark, Iceland, Sweden. Then Israel pops up at number 5. Netherlands, Norway, Luxembourg. Switzerland and Australia rounds it out.
Whoa, hold up. Israel at number 5? Seriously? With everything going on there, how does that work? Are they measuring happiness or just sheer ballsy defiance?
That is surprising. It raises questions about the methodology, doesn't it? Perhaps resilience in the face of adversity, or incredibly strong community bonds, weigh heavily in their self-reporting, even amidst turmoil. Or perhaps the data collection predates the worst of recent events.
It definitely complicates the narrative. In Australia, miles away, different culture still in the top 10. It shows it's not just a Nordic model. But Israel's placement is jarring. It makes you question what life satisfaction truly captures in a conflict zone or a highly polarized society. Maybe knowing your neighbor has your back, even if you hate their politics, counts for a lot.
Or maybe the survey accidentally polled only the people living in the safest, richest parts of Tel Aviv? Just saying. And what about the US? Where did we land? Please tell me we beat like North Korea?
Actually, the report highlights that the US has fallen quite significantly to its lowest ranking ever, somewhere in the mid-20s.
Mid-20s? Are you fucking kidding me? We invented happiness, or at least the pursuit of it. What happened? Did everyone suddenly realize their McMansions and Teslas weren't filling the void?
The report suggests several factors contributing to the U.S. decline. A significant drop in well-being among younger Americans, increasing social and political polarization, anxieties about the economy, basically. The American dream seems to be sputtering, especially for Gen Z. The freedom metric might be high, but the social support and trust metrics are likely dragging it down. Plus, our healthcare system is a joke compared to those top countries.
It's disheartening. The social fabric feels increasingly frayed. There's a sense of disconnection, loneliness. Anxiety seems to be the national mood, especially among the young. We chase individual success so hard, maybe we forget how much community, well-being contributes to personal happiness.
Great. So while Finland is quietly content in the dark, we're here screaming at each other online, drowning in medical debt, and wondering why kids are miserable. Awesome. Maybe we should just import some of that Finnish shisu, or just their government policies.
It does bring up the money versus happiness debate again. The report consistently shows that while GDP per capita matters, it plateaus. Some less wealthy nations occasionally outrank richer ones, especially on metrics like generosity or community bonds. Yeah, money buys comfort and stability, but it doesn't automatically equate to life satisfaction beyond a certain point. Diminishing returns.
Exactly. Material wealth provides a foundation, but true contentment often seems rooted in relationships, purpose, trust, and feeling safe within your community. Things money can facilitate, perhaps, but never fully purchase. It's the intangible threads that hold a happy society together.
Okay, philosopher queen, but like, how much money would I need to be Finland level happy? Ballpark figure? Enough to buy my own private sauna and a lifetime supply of rye bread?
Probably less than you think, Kiki, if you also adopted their modest expectations and pensioned for sensible knitwear. It's not about opulence, it's about security, knowing you won't go bankrupt If you get sick, knowing your kids will get a decent education, trusting institutions, that's the real luxury good here.
And there's that cultural difference again. The Finns, ranked happiest, don't feel the need to constantly project joy. Contrast that with American culture, where there's immense pressure to appear successful, positive, always happy. Maybe that relentless pursuit and performance of happiness is precisely what makes it so elusive here. It gens another form of work.
That's a sharp point, Ayla. In the US, happiness is often conflated with achievement, visible success, and constant optimism. Admitting dissatisfaction can feel like failure. In Nordic cultures, there seems to be more acceptance of a wider emotional range, less judgment. Contentment is valued over performative glee.
So basically, we need to chill the fuck out. Stop trying so hard to look happy on Instagram. Maybe pay some more taxes for decent services and learn to enjoy staring into the middle distance with quiet satisfaction. Is that the takeaway?
Perhaps a simplified version, yes. While we can critique the methodology and debate the definition of happiness, the report consistently highlights the importance of social cohesion, trust, and strong safety nets. These aren't revolutionary ideas, but the top-ranked countries implement them effectively. There are lessons there, even if applying them elsewhere is complex.
It's a mirror held up to the world, reflecting different paths societies take in the universal human quest for a good life. Whether a number on a list truly captures the soul of a nation's well-being is debatable, but the conversation itself is valuable. It forces us to ask what truly matters.